Have you ever thought about our immune system and how it relates to nature? Because if you have never thought about it, I would highly recommend that you do now. Because, the 30th Conference of the Parts is going to happen this year of 2025 here in Brazil, in Belém. So another thing that we have to think about is not only climate change, like global warming and things like that, but also how that will be impacting our nature and our immune system, especially for the children until the 6-year-old age. Because this first period of childhood that we called primeira infância in Portuguese in Brazil, it is a very important time for children. You know why? Because during this period, they learn a lot of new things. Their brain is starting to develop itself. So when children of this age, so from 0 months to the 72 months of the 6 first years of their life, they start to learn a lot of new things, right? And then if they are close to nature, for example, they are able to develop their immune system in a very specific way. If they are away from nature or next to nature, but in an environment that is not actually balanced or is sturdy, for example, they will develop their immune system in a different way. So if you think about that, we have to concern ourselves about this because, a child that is exposed to more danger, chemically speaking, biologically speaking, some of them will not survive because maybe their DNA is even not capable of fighting that, immunologically speaking. But there are beings around the world that actually are able, they have a strong DNA, strong enough to fight that immunologically speaking. So some don't. The thing is, if we are concerned for the people who have the weakest DNA, the weakest immune system, they will be the first to not survive determined aspects, right? So if we don't care about that, the weakest biological, genetically speaking, of course, people will not survive that. So we have some threats that are just natural of our environment, right? We are constantly fighting determined, threats around us. Different chemicals, different animals, different plants, different people. But if we have a DNA that is strong enough to survive that, we don't have to worry about it, right? But not everyone around the world is actually that strong genetically speaking to fight these threats biologically. So their immune system is usually weaker, is usually less complex, is usually younger. So for the ethnicities that we have around the globe that are younger, comparing to the eldest ones, they will be the first to not be able to survive this type of threat. So here in the pedagogy course, we are thinking about this. How will climate change and the 30th Conference of the Parts that is going to happen here in Brazil this year of 2025 in November, how is that going to impact these children from 0 to 72 months of age, especially the ones who don't have the strong DNA to fight this type of climate change? Because one another thing is for sure, there are people around the world who are going to survive this type of climate change, and some won't. This is because of their immune system. This is because of their biological system. This is because they have a DNA that is strong enough to fight determined threats. But that's not everybody. So we have to care about all of them, right? Not only one portion of them. So we know that determined DNAs around the world are simply the strongest. Historically speaking, we have records of that, right? But it's not everybody. So how will that impact these children? Let's think about this. The eldest DNA around is already ready for this, is already more than prepared for this type of threat because they have fought even worse battles before when it comes to threats to their immune system, right? This is why they have the strongest human immune system, because they are old enough to have fought so many different battles, so many different threats, chemically and biologically speaking, that their immune system now is already prepared for that, even without interventions that are modern, because they don't need them. But the thing is, how can we help as the eldest beings, as the eldest DNA, as the eldest teachers, the eldest professors? How can we help this other portion of communities that don't have the strong DNA, that don't have the strongest DNA? How can we help them, and how can we teach them? And how can we prevent determined companies and groups to intervene in nature as if they had the power to do so, as if they were stronger than nature? The best way to do that is to do your own part. So do your own part. Do your job. Do your part, because if you do, you will already be taking over what is yours. So think about that. And how can you learn? If you are as a part of this group, if you're a part of this group, please study, learn, be informed about it, and know that there are beings around the world who don't need this care, who already learned by experience, in practice, how to fight these, because they already know. They already had to do it centuries ago. But that's not everybody. So let's learn from the eldest. Let's learn from the ancient beings of the planet. They won't need this help, but some people will. So if you know anybody that is this type of people, right? If you know anybody that is a descendant of indigenous beings, if you know anybody that is a descendant of the eldest beings, of the eldest DNA people, of the eldest ancient civilizations we had around the planet, ask them, learn from them, because they are the only ones who can teach us how to be the best that we can, how to be the strongest that we can, and know that they already know all of that. They are already prepared. They've known for centuries about what we are living now. But now we have new problems, new generations, and a lot of babies to take care of. A lot of children that need us, right, to learn all of this. So be aware, keep up to date, and keep following us for more information. I hope you liked today's video, and if you have any questions, any doubts, please let them here below in the comments, and give us your thumbs up, your likes. Please share and follow for more information. We also have a YouTube channel. We also are on TikTok, not only on Instagram. So keep following us. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and know that we have a lot to learn, and we are able to do this. All right, so keep following us. I hope you enjoyed today's video. One more time. Bye bye. See you.